welcome to the February vlog. As you can see, I'm in the shop and I have just been and picked all of the orders that came in over the weekend. I decided to put out a soap saver special for the rest of February, and lots of orders came through for the soaps. I actually thought I was going to have a pretty quiet week in the shop where I could mess around with filling the soap tank up and making soaps this week, but things have kind of changed with some of the orders that came through. Now, I know that it did look like the shelves were completely and utterly wiped out just then, but I do remember have a lot of stuff kind of in the drawers underneath, so I was able to replenish all of the face creams, or most of the face creams, the face scrubs and things, but I still have a lot more things to make than I kind of anticipated to have to make this week. On Saturday when I left last week, I did get a big order that wiped me out of a few of the foaming sugar scrubs, so I did have every intention of making those this week. So I wrote those down on this little piece of my thing, but I've just gone through and written a whole heap more worth of stuff that I now need to actually top up. So I need to top up the moisturizers. We've just run out of the Sun Kiss, so I'll be making those this week. I need to make more night cream. I've got to stock up the Sleepy Time salts because I've only got one of them. I'm almost out of the Calm Magnesium lotion, so I need to make a batch of those. I need to make some hand creams. And then I also need to restock the tallow cream that's there. And I'm actually thinking I'm going to make some tallow balm while I'm at it. But the balm is only going to be available in the shop for the short term until the weather cools. It just cannot be shipped in this really warm weather. But over the weekend, my name, or my business name, kept getting tagged in Facebook posts, and when I had a look at these tags, people are asking where to get tallow products from, and a lot of people are actually tagging me, which is fantastic. So thank you so much to people who are tagging me as a local business to come and get the tallow from. So I thought, rather than just having the tallow cream on the shelf, I'm also going to make some tallow balm backup, because I can actually keep that on the shelf, sell it locally, but it just won't ship until the cooler months kick in. So I'm going to make some of that. So my kind of list went from that to that, which is a really good problem to have. So it is going to be a busy making week this week. Hopefully it's going to be busy in the shop as well. It was really dull, grey, wet weather last week, so it was really quiet. But this week it looks like we're going to have a bit better weather, so hopefully we'll get a few more people come in. But we're going to get on to packing these orders. Now, I listened to everybody last month. I thought, I'll try something new. Rather than you just looking at a box getting filled up with products, I would chat to you on the screen. No, so many of you did not like that and said that you wanted to see the items actually being packed into the boxes. So let me get this camera moved so you can see what is going into this first order. This order is absolutely massive, and it came in on, I think it was Saturday afternoon, just after I'd left the shop, or Saturday evening, so I wasn't in the shop, so it was going to get packed today. And I think that was intentional, because this is for Nicole, and she has written, looking forward to seeing my order being packed. So I think she was waiting until I'd left the shop before placing the order so she could see it on the vlog. So let me get this camera adjusted, and then we will get on with packing all the orders. All right, so as I said before, this order is for Nicole, and she has been a long-time customer of mine for at least 6 years, and she has just recently moved, and she says she's not all set up yet, but she's getting herself some stuff and things for her friends. So let's see what she has ordered. There is lots of stuff in here. We'll start with the two sun-kissed moisturizers. So let's pop those in there. I also need a pen so I can mark everything off to make sure that we have got everything. She's also ordered our new night cream, which has got the coenzyme Q10 in it. Let's pop you in there. Now, she's ordered 5 of our watermelon face creams. So we've got 1, 2, making sure I'm getting the right ones, 3, 4, and 5. So we've got 5 of those. Let's see if we can get these in, taking up the least amount of space. We don't have to go for an even bigger box. She has also ordered 5 of the cucumber ones. So we've got 1, 2, we've got 3, that's 4, and where's the 5th one? There it is, 5. I did get them all out. All right, so we've got 5 of those. She has also ordered 3 of the gentle foaming face scrubs. That's the yellow one, 1, 2, 3. I'll pop them in there, as well as 3 of our original charcoal ones. So we'll go 1, squish that one in there, 2, 3. All right, we've got those in. And then we've also got 2 hyaluronic face gels to go in here too. So those ones are there. All right, so I'm just going to fill the rest of that in with a little bit of paper so things don't move around as always. Now I have actually forgotten to print myself some little stickers, so let's do that now. I'm using the Munbin app and the Bluetooth. Oh, I hate when it keeps logging me out. Well, let me tick it. Okay. Every so often it logs me out of the program and it's just very annoying. All right, so let's print up. We've got 2, 4, 5, 6 orders. So let's print up 6 of those. While that's printing, I am actually popping in a little bonus gift in here because this is such a massive order. We've got our little sample. I'm giving some fig and olive hand cream, a little ray of sunshine, and my thank you note. I'm also going to pop in my fun little magnet in there too. Go and grab my stickers. All right, let's get this one all sealed up. And then just so I can work in a bit more of a sort of progressive order today, sometimes I find it's easier to pack all the orders because, as you know, I then generally wrap them up. I find it easier to go ahead, pack all the orders in their boxes and then wrap them all up afterwards. It just gives a bit more of a better flow to my work. So that is the first one. I'm going to go and grab the next one. All right, the next one I have got is actually from someone, and I'm sorry if I'm pronouncing this wrong, Norizon, I think is the name, and it's actually going to someone called Sarah. So let's grab that one. We're going to start off with some of this Sleepy Time soaking salts in there. We've got some of the Midnight Rose hand cream, so I actually need to stock that up this week. So I think we've only got 1 left. I've got some of the Calm Magnesium lotion in there, and we've also got one of the Aussie Bush soaps, so let's pop that one in the middle. Pop in a bit of paper. We've got a little sampler to go in there, a little magnet and a ray of sunshine, and of course our little thank you card as well, so pop that in and let's seal that one all up. And same with the last parcel. I am then just going to pop this to one side while we go and grab the next one, and I will wrap them all up in their paper in the end. So that is that one. I don't know if you could hear me then. I've just realised that my microphone was in the wrong place. Let me go and get this one sorted. All right, so the next one I've got here is for Shelley, who is another long-time customer of mine and is also a Pamper Club member, and she's taken advantage of our soap saver sale, which was actually buy 3 soaps and save 10%, and buy 10 or more soaps and you save 20%. So she has grabbed herself 5 soap bars in here. We've got the Espresso Martini, we've got Sweet Chai, Rejuvenate, Attitude, and Island Dreaming. So again, I'm going to get some paper in there. That box looks awfully big, doesn't it? But I don't have a smaller one. So let's fill the gap up with a bit of paper. I really should have a look to see if there's any other box sizes, but I'm running out of space to store everything, so I might just have to make do with what's there. All right, we've got our little sample, little magnet, and our thank you card. Gonna get this one all done up. It's been such a good day today. I actually went for a walk with Pepper and hubby this morning. I thought it was going to be raining this morning when when we were going to wake up, so I hadn't really anticipated on taking Pepper for a walk. And so I slept in, like I get up extra half hour sleeping on the days we don't go walking. And I woke up and hubby's getting ready to take Pepper for a walk. And it was like, do you want me to come with you? And he said, yeah, okay. So all three of us went for a walk. It was really quite nice, actually. But I think she was a little bit excited, so she forgot her manners a bit. All right, so I have just found a box that's already made up under the counter here. I'm going to use this slightly different shape, but still goes into my small satchel here. So yeah, we've been trying to teach her to walk on a harness for the last sort of month. I love the Halsey. I think it's a really, really good tool. But there are a lot of people who don't walk their dogs on leads. And to me, when they then approach Pepper and she's got her mouth closed by this Halsey, I do worry about what she's actually feeling, because she can't get her mouth open enough to defend herself if she needs to. So I really wanted to learn how to walk on a harness so she's not as restricted. But the problem is she's only 27 kilos. She's about the same size as what our first dog was, Rolly. But she's got more brute force in her than what Lucy had at 40 odd kilos. And I can't control her when she decides to pull, but we're getting there, we're learning. But yeah, she did forget her manners this morning. But anyhow, let's get this order packed. This one is for Rita, another long-time customer up in North Queensland, also a Pamper Club member. She has grabbed herself a Mulaney soap bar. That's the one that's got some milk from Mulaney in it. We've got the clean cotton everyday bar, as well as the black raspberry, and she's also grabbed the Island Dreaming and the newly released Attitude. She has also grabbed our newly released lip scrub and lip oils in the Arctic Frost. That's one of my favourite ones. It's got like a minty flavouring in it. So it's not too cooling on the lips, but it's got that really nice fresh sort of feel. So again, gonna get this one all packed up with the paper. Today's going to be a long vlog because we've got lots of videos, and I know you guys lots of orders to pack, and you guys love seeing them. Anyhow, we've got the moisturizer, and we've also got our Little Ray of Sunshine. I don't think Rita's had this version of the magnet, so we'll pop it in, and then we'll get this one closed up, and then we've got two more to pack before I wrap them. Other exciting things that have been happening, well, I think they're exciting anyway. I have got all my brand new mold liners in, so I'll be able to show you those a little bit later on this week. And I also got a new machine in, and seeing as we're going to be making things like sugar scrubs and soaking salts, I will be able to show you how those machines work. But I might just be having a customer about to walk in, so I need to go and put my music on, and we'll get back to packing in just a moment. All right, we're back to pack this order. Now, I get a lot of questions about my shipping boxes. In particular, one question is, where do I get them from? The place I actually get my shipping containers from, and have done for the last 13, 14 years, is EB Pack, which is down near Sydney. I have actually got a discount code for you, which I'll leave down in the description box for anyone here in Australia. When you use the code, it will give you $10 off your purchase of over $100. So you do need to spend $100 to get that $10 off. And you will also, I do also get a little bit of a kickback from out of that as well. It doesn't cost you any more to use that that discount code, but I do get a little bit of a thank you from the company if you do go along and purchase from them. And as I said, I've been using this company for years. They're really quick at sending them out. The other question I get asked is what size boxes. Do you know what? I've got about, I don't know, almost a dozen different sized boxes to fit all the different size envelopes. So it's such a hard question for me to actually say buy this size box, because it really does depend upon what you're packing into them. They do separate the boxes so that they tell you which ones fit into what Australia Post satchels, but it's just something you're going to have to experiment with and work out what is going to work best for you. But anyhow, let's get on with packing this order. It's actually 2 separate orders for the same person. This is for Joanne, again, another long-time customer and also Pamper Club member, and she has definitely taken advantage of our soapy sale here. She's got herself a pomegranate soap. I'm hoping these are all going to fit in here. We've got a papaya and coconut cream. We've got white sun, and she's also grabbed our little limoncello soap that we had there. That was when I was testing a new mold. What else have we got here? We have got cranberry orange. We've got an aurora bloom and also attitude. So they're all in there. She's also grabbed Rose Garden solid shampoo. So let me tick all those off so that I can make sure I have got exactly what should be in here. She's also grabbed one of our outdoor body sprays that is for helping to deter bugs. I'm not allowed to call it bug repellent though. She's also grabbed our Peachy Glow lip oil, so we'll pop that in there. And the other thing I've got, oh no, we've got this one too. We've got the Bat's clip balm holder for the lip balms. And then the other thing she has grabbed, this is a freebie that is currently on for the Pamper Club members, but you do actually have to add it to the cart with other items. I had some randomly shaped cuticle oil pens, so I have just filled those up, and when you order anything else as a Pamper Club member and add one of those pens into the order, it will actually ring it up as being free. And then you can also order extra pens. So if you want 2 of them, one of them will be free, and then the other one will be charged at your Pamper Club rates. Let's fill the gap up with our paper shred. I feel like I'm rushing. I've just had that sort of thing of, I have got so much to do, much more than I thought, so I need to actually start getting my butt into gear here. So we've got our sampler. I don't think she's had a magnet. If so, she can give it away to someone. We've got our little thank you in there. Let's get this one wrapped up. And then I've just got one more to do before we start wrapping them all. Let's do that one. I do find that working in sort of a progressive style of doing things does actually make things quicker. So I always try to do like tasks. I don't always do it when I'm on camera because I know you guys like to see each bit of the process, but I do find that if I pack everything and then wrap everything, it gets done a lot quicker. Okay, so this order is for Annette, and I have known Annette since I started my business. She has been a customer of mine since then, a good friend of mine since then. We actually met at one of the very first markets that I ever did. She used to sell jewellery, and we've been friends ever since, and we used to go to a lot of the same markets together. And although she doesn't sell jewellery anymore, she does still keep coming to buy from me. She pops into the shop. She does live down in the Redlands coast, but she does still pop in occasionally, and she's always placing orders online. So thank you, Annette, for supporting me so much. She's ordered shampoo bars. We've got Sweet Darkness, Invigorating, and our Citrus Burst, so pop those in. She's also grabbed our Everyday White Patchouli and Salty Mariner soap bars, so let's pop them in there. And then she's stocked up on a whole heap of others. Let's grab them out and make sure I've got them all right in here. We have got a Claytanicals scrubby soap. We've got Juvenate. We've got another Claytanicals in our Aussie Bush. We've got Spa Day. Where are you? That one is Spa Day. We've got a Salt Glow. I love these salt bars. They feel amazing on the skin. She's also grabbed a Lemon Poppy Seed. We might pop you down there. Eucalyptus and Sage. And then she's also grabbed sandalwood. I actually need to make another lot of this one, but the next time it comes out, it won't actually have this piping on the top. It will just have the sandalwood powder through it. It's absolutely stunning. And another one of our Attitude, this one has proven to be so popular this time. I've done Attitude in the past and it's been really, really slow moving. But for some reason this time it has just really flown off the shelf. Let's get some paper to fill in the little gap here. Protect all the tops of our soaps. All right, we've got, of course, a little ray of sunshine. It'll have to get tucked in a little bit funny there just because of all those soaps. I am actually going to include the hair mask as a sampler for her in the Citrus Burst. We've got our magnet and our little thank you card, and it's time. Oh, that's got caught on the back there. Oh dear. Got caught on the back of the box. All right, so let's get that one all done. So now that you've seen them all wrapped up and we've completed half the vlog, half the vlog time, I am going to go and get all of these wrapped up in their paper, and then I'm going to go and get on with some of the other tasks that we need to do to make sure we're on top of everything this week. So all of today's parcels have now all been labelled up, ready to go to the post office. I also have one extra special one in here. When we had Lucy, we had absolutely no idea what breed was in her, and so many people had all these different opinions of what breeds were in her, and I decided to get her DNA checked to find out what was in her, just so we knew what potential issues we might have with her health as she got older. So we sent off to get this DNA test done. It was really quite interesting. And when we got Pepper, Pepper was actually born in the shelter that we got her from, and they'd already seen the mum, and they told us that she was a Mastiff Staffy, and you can really see both those breeds in her. So I was never too worried about getting a DNA test done for her to see what's in her. You know, pretty confident. They had the mum, they knew what was in her, you know, and they all show, and we do see bits of boxer in her as well. But I was actually given the opportunity to review a at-home DNA testing kit. So I got sent the kit the other day. I've activated it and everything, and last night we were taking Pepper's DNA. She was so good. Inside here there's like these little, you know, swabs, so they're this long purple stick with a little swab on the end of it, and I'm thinking, oh, this is just going to be an absolute nightmare to try and swab her cheeks. So she was sitting on the couch with us. I said, you hold her, we'll do it now. And she kind of just sat there, and she looked at me, and I showed her this stick, and I put it just inside her cheek, and she just sat there looking at me. It was like, what you doing? So I'm trying not to laugh and trying to get this swab from off her. So that was the first one done. Hubby's not had to hold her or anything. So then I've grabbed the other two, and I thought, well, I'll just do the other side of her cheek. And she just sat there again looking at me like, you're an idiot, what are you doing? So I got the other stick and I stuck it in the other side. She's just sitting there on the couch with these two sticks pointing out of her cheeks. It was so funny, and I couldn't get my camera because I knew if I moved to get my phone that she would probably move and not be so good, but I wish I could have filmed her. She was so funny doing these swabs. But we got the swabs all done up. They're ready to send off. They reckon it will take 2 to 3 weeks to get it done. That's going to be all part of the review to see how quickly it does actually get done and what comes back. But really interested to see what actually does come back in Pepper, because we know, well, they said her mum was a Mastiff Staffy, but Mastiffs can be anything. There are so many different breeds that go into a Mastiff. So it'll be really interesting to see what comes back. I reckon she's got a bit of boxer in her, just sometimes the way she stands. She gets that real boxy head and the sort of stance in her body. So it'll be really quite interesting to what comes back. The other reason I really wanted to get Lucy done when we had her was because the vets were constantly telling us that she was overweight and that we had to get weight off her. She was about 40 to 42 kilos. And I'm thinking, well, yeah, she's probably overweight for a Staffy is what we were given, but she clearly doesn't look Staffy. And when we got the test back and it came back that she had Rottweiler, Boxer and Bulldog in her, it's like, she's never going to be a 27 kilo dog. If I get her down to that weight that they kept telling me I had to get her down to about 30 kilos, there was going to be nothing of Lucy. Yes, she was probably a little bit chunky. She probably could have come down to about 38 kilos, but with all those big breeds in her, she definitely was not as overweight as what the vet kept telling us she was. So once I actually knew what breeds were in her, I just ignored the sort of, your dog's really overweight, because she wasn't. Rottweilers are a good 40 plus kilos, so of course she's going to be around that mark. But Pepper, we're pretty confident she's at the right weight, but it will be interesting to see what comes back. So I'm going to drop that off in the post as well with all these parcels. I have a couple of soaps which will be coming off the cure rack this week, so I'm actually going to take them home and take some fresh photos of them. These are the seashell soaps. So I want to take these ones home with me and get some photographs in the morning. So they'll go in a separate basket. So yeah, today's been a bit of a strange-ish sort of day. I really didn't get as much done as what I was hoping to get done. I did get the moisturiser done up, which is perhaps the most important off that list because I'm completely missing the sun-kissed. But I didn't make anything else to go on the shelf. I've had a lot of people coming in to browse today, which means I've not been able to get out the back there to get the stuff to bring out the front. So I didn't really make much more. but I was doing a little bit of testing and experimenting, and it's all just completely failed. Completely and utterly failed. One of the Patreon design challenges that will be coming out later this month, the product is for a cooling cream for after sun use. So I've actually made a cream, and that will be coming out, the recipe and the formula and everything, for March. But I actually wanted to try and make a gel, and I think the thickener that I've got is reacting too much to the salts, which is found in aloe vera, and every time I try and thicken it up, it just goes water thin. I got it thick at one point, and then I added the neutralizer, and it just went, and it, it didn't work. So I've been trying lots of sort of variations of it. And I'm just, this one was the latest one, and I'm not happy with it. It's snotty. It really is snotty. But I can't get my gel thickeners to work with the aloe vera because of the salts which are found in aloe vera. So I'm going to have to get some different thickeners in, and then hopefully maybe later on in the year we'll have like an aloe vera gel recipe as well, because I get asked a lot for it in the shop, and I don't want to just go and buy aloe vera from the supplier and then stick it on there. I want to put a few extra nice things in there, but if I can't get a nice stable gel-like consistency that's not snotty, I'm not going to be happy. So I have been trying to work on that today. As I said, there will be a cooling cream come out, like a lotion, but not a gel, which is what I really, really, really wanted. So I'll keep on it, trying to formulate that one. But otherwise, I haven't done much else today. So what I'm going to do now is go and sit down at the computer. I've got about 40 minutes until I close the door and take that lot to the post office. I'm going to sit down, I'm going to print up all the recipes that need to be made this week, so that when I come in tomorrow, I know exactly what I'm going to be making. So I'm going to go and do that. I think I'm just going to go and toss that in the bin, because I'm really not happy. Even if it stays stable overnight, that is just disgusting. I don't want to put that on me. It just doesn't look nice at all. Anyway, I'm gonna go and do that, and then we'll be back to the shop tomorrow, and we'll be making lots of products, and hopefully I might even be able to show you my new toy. What a morning. I am about to stop for lunch, but I have managed to get so much done this morning. Before coming into the shop, I was editing the vlog, and as I was editing, I thought, you really didn't achieve much yesterday at all. The 8 different products that I needed to make this week, I only made one, and then I was testing other ones, which is not a bad thing to be doing testing in between, but I really need to get the shelves restocked. I thought, so just when I get in, head down, bum up, and start making. So that is exactly what I decided to do. I do have a fresh batch of the night cream. This one is probably about 20 minutes away from me being able to add in the coenzyme Q10 and the preservative, and then leaving it there for packaging up tomorrow. I've also got a big batch of hand cream over here. That's going to be split up for 4 different scents tomorrow. I also made up a batch of the Sleepy Time soaking salts just there, and I have just also finished potting up the moisturizer that I made yesterday, and got to play with my brand new machine, which you just saw me playing with there. It is a continuous bag sealer, and it is something I have wanted for years and years and years. And up until recently, those sort of bag sealing machines, and I'm not talking an impulse sealer, but the proper bag sealing machines, they've been super expensive, and they really are for like big branded businesses out there. But with this company that's really starting to pop up all over the place, Vevor, Vevor, I'm pretty sure they're all over the world. They're actually starting making this sort of machinery a lot more accessible to small businesses. And this particular continuous bag sealer machine popped up when I was having another look for them the other day, and I grabbed myself one. Now, I have used an impulse sealer for many, many years. So this one was done with an impulse sealer, and I hate the look. I absolutely hate the look of an impulse sealer. I'm just trying to do it here. I hate how it's not fully sealed, and it's just like this single line. And sometimes when you've done, say, 6 or 7 bags, as you're using it, it's getting hotter and hotter. It's really, really hard to control the temperature on those impulse sealers. And then you kind of get to a point, I don't think I've got any here, right? Oh, I do, look. This is one of my little sample sachets. It gets to a point where it's so hot that it kind of starts really melting it and curling it and just making it go really, really horrible. And for years, I've wanted a proper bag sealer that gives you the nice finishes around the edges of your bags. And that is what that machine does. So I have just turned it back on. The disadvantage to this machine over the impulse sealer is that it does make a bit of noise, but it's really not that offensive, and it is so super quick that the noise isn't really there for very long. So I have actually just turned it on, and I've got it heating back up. It took me a while to figure out the temperatures for the size bags that I've got, but I'm going to get that one heated up, and then I'll just give you a very quick demonstration of it. All right, so the machine's come up to temperature, so I'm just going to take my Ziploc bag. I've got it all closed up. I can just see the belts in here. You don't want to get your fingers in there because it is very hot. And I'm just going to slide it in until the belt takes it. Because this is a bigger, heavier bag, I do actually have to support it as it goes through, unlike the little sachets, which I can send through. You don't want to put it too far back in there, otherwise it seals where your little tear notches are. But it is so super easy to use. I've got just another one here. Hope I could do with doing a little bit more on that one. So very easy just to put it back through. I'm actually not dragging it. I'm just letting it go along like so. Now that I've got them, I'll turn this off. And that is the seal that it gives. It is nice. So that can't actually be split open, and I can actually see that there's a really nice seal all the way along the top. Sometimes I find with the impulse heat sealer, if there's even just the tiniest little granule of something, especially when it comes to these salts, if there's the tiniest little granule of salt there or salt or anything, it won't seal properly. But this one just seals all the way across, and it just gives it such a more professional sort of look, and it continues on. It does have have to work out how to get it just a little bit more stamped, but it actually does have a stamping plate which matches in with the same seams that are already on these bags. So it just gives it such a professional finish. I absolutely love that machine. It is on the Vevor website. Just look up for the continuous bag sealing machine, and honestly it has made such a difference, and it makes filling these up really easy. I used to fill them up and then kind of balance them before I then sealed them with the heat sealer, because if you fill one and then try and seal it, you kind of it was just too awkward to try and fill, seal, fill, seal. So it was easier to fill, and then seal, seal. That's just how it went through my head. But as you saw with that, all I was doing was I was filling and popping it into the machine and filling and popping it into the machine. Just made it so much easier with so much less mess and waste than I usually get when I use that impulse sealer. So absolutely love my new toy, but I am hungry. It has been a really, really busy morning. I've had quite a few people in the shop as well, so I'm going to go and have some lunch, and then this afternoon I'm going to go and clean up the jars that I have just emptied from the moisturizer, and I'm going to pick, probably because it's the big jar that I've cleaned out, we'll do the magnesium lotion today, because that's another big batch and I need that 3-litre jar to make it in. But first of all, I need some lunch. All right, so I've eaten a bit of lunch. I came back and I had a bit of a tidy up on the bench, and then I got a batch of magnesium calm lotion on the go. There's still a bit of unmelted wax in that one, so there's probably still got another 15-20 minutes before I can combine the two phases together. So while I'm waiting for it to do that, I'm going to get on with packing Katie's order. So Katie is a long-time customer of mine, also a Pamper Club member. She did actually order last night, and it's not like me to leave order packing until so late in the day when I've had them come in during like the night before, early morning. But because I wanted to get so much done today, I thought I'll go and pick it to make sure I get everything off the shelf so it's there ready to pack later. And I'm sure there'll be a point at some point during the day where I can pack it, and that's what we're going to do now. So I know you don't want to see me, you want to see me put it in the box. So let's put the camera down. All right, so the first thing we're going to pop in is the solid dish soap. This has just been relaunched, and I've had quite a number of orders for it since I relaunched it. And also the formula for this is available over on the DIY Body Care website, and you guys are loving that formula because that has been the #1 seller since I released the YouTube video on that one. So we've got that in there. We've also got the Kaleidoscope Petite Scrunchie. Let's put it in so it faces the right way, as well as the Royal Bloom. She's also grabbed one of our cream cleansers with green tea extract in it, so let's pop that in there. She's also grabbed our new fig and olive hand cream. Just going to start marking these off to make sure I have got them all. And then the other thing she's ordered, these are all new products that she's ordered. We've also got the Crimson Kiss lip oil, so that goes in there. Now in the Pamper Club section, as I showed yesterday, we have got that cuticle oil pen, so my Pamper Club members can pop one of those into their cart, and if they've got other things in the cart, this will actually go in for free for them. So that's in there. Let's go and grab some paper to fill in the box. All right, so let's fill that bit in there. We're going to pop in a sampler. I've got some of the chamomile and oat moisturiser. In fact, that one's got the wrong label on. So let's find a different one. I'm going to actually pop in a little glow face mask instead. That label on this sampler should not say oatmeal, it should just say oat, because we didn't put oatmeal into that one. I think it was because I actually pulled up the old sampler labels from when I originally made this cream and then changed it a little bit later. So I know most of them had the right one, but it looks like a few snuck through. We've got our little ray of sunshine and our little thank you card. And we're going to get it all sealed up. I need to print myself a little sticker, so let's grab the phone there and into Munban. go on there. All right, so we'll get this one all sealed up. I'll get it all wrapped up. And then it shouldn't be too long before I can actually combine that oil and water on the magnesium lotion and get that one made up. And then I think I'm going to spend, it's about 2 o'clock, so I've still got a couple of hours left, but I will spend the afternoon preparing all of the labels for all of the products that I've done today, because sometimes printing up the labels can take that little bit of time. So if I can do it during a downtime, it just means that I get more done tomorrow. I know it doesn't make sense, because at the end of the day it's got to be done, but if I try and print the labels tomorrow before packaging and stuff, I just find it takes longer for some reason. I don't know why. It's kind of like that whole multitasking, I gather. You know, there's not much else I can do while that cream is heating up, so I may as well go and do another job, and that job is preparing the labels. Whereas tomorrow, if I try and print my labels up first thing in the morning when I get in, there's nothing else actually happening, so you're kind of wasting that time. So yeah, I'm going to get a bit of multitasking going on this afternoon, and then I'll be all prepared for when I come in tomorrow. I was hoping to be able to make some soaps this week, but it's not going to happen this week, is it? Oh well. What I did actually want to show you though with regards to soap making, because it's definitely not going to work, I'll go and grab them. So I did show that I'd got these in my last vlog. So George helped me get these. The men's shed down near him made me these boxes for these liners in the thing. And I also explained that I suddenly realised I honestly thought the liners were longer than my original boxes that I had with my original moulds in. And then I realised they are actually exactly the same length. The only difference was I had like that 4mm gap in here. So what I ended up thinking I would do is go and get some 4mm plyboard or something out of Bunnings, and I would cut myself a little shim to go between the silicone liner and the liner of the box. And then I kind of thought, oh, I really don't want to be chopping wood. And then I thought, oh, I wonder if I can get core flute in the right size. And the white core flute comes in either 3mm or 5mm. So 3mm could have worked. It still would have given a slight bow to the mould, and 5mm would have pushed it in. But how awesome is this bright orange core flute? And it happened to be 4mm. So I grabbed myself that, and then I cut myself a piece to go in here, so it now actually fills the mold up. And the really good thing is the silicone liner will actually adhere slightly to that core flute, so it just makes my liners sit up a little bit better. So I've actually been able to reuse all of these boxes from my original mold. So I now actually have 8 loaf molds, because once I worked out that I could do this, I ordered another 4 of these liners, because I just don't think my slab molds are going to last much longer. So I figured, well, when I had 4 molds and 2 slabs, that's the equivalent of 8 loaves. So I just figured, you know what, I'll just have 8 loaf molds instead. So really, really happy with how these have come out, but unfortunately they're not going to get used this week because there is too many creams to be making. I'm going to go and finish wrapping up Katie's order and then print up all my labels. crossover. With me. Come on. See ya. I'll go without you. This side of the pole. Good girl. Come on, leave the snacks alone. All right, I am down at the shop now. I had such a lovely walk with Miss Pepper this morning. She was a little bit naughty on her harness today and did pull me a couple of times. The first time was as we were coming to the top of the street and she spotted her friend Deja and her dad, and she just legged it up the street. So I can't pull her back or anything, but she went and said hello, and then she walked well for a little while until she spotted the next people that she wanted to go and say hello to. We are slowly but surely getting there. And I just have to keep telling myself she's not even 2 yet, so she is still learning. But it was such a beautiful walk, beautiful temperature, lovely sunrise as well that we were watching. I actually decided to do our walk in reverse order today, so I wasn't walking into the sun, but it was just such a lovely day. But I am now down at the shop. As you can see, we've got lots of things to do. I've got to go and get my door open. I can see lots of people out in the street, so hopefully all those people come flowing in. It was such an amazing day yesterday. I was so shattered when I got home, not just with making. There was a lot of people coming into the shop too. Absolutely amazing day. Over here we've got our magnesium lotion, which I made up last minute yesterday. That one's going to get packaged up. Then over on this counter, we've got the hand cream to do up. I've got all of my labels ready to go. We've also got the night cream here. I have got another little tester cream, which I'm going to have a bit of a play at. And I've also got this in here that I'm trying to dilute. I'm trying to make some body wash. I want to use this particular ingredient, but it needs diluting first. So I'm just going to wait and see how long it takes to dilute that and whether it's actually going to be worth using. But there is so much to be doing today, so I'm going to go and get that door open and we'll see where the day takes us. It has been another busy, productive day. I've had a few people coming into the shop today, not nearly as many as yesterday, but I'm still happy to have got a few into the shop today. And as I've said in the previous vlog, I'm getting a lot more repeat customers coming in, which is absolutely fantastic, because that's what I really want, is those that are going to keep coming in when the tourists aren't around. Luckily, Caloundra is pretty much a tourist town all year round. It's very rare do we not have tourists in the area, but you know, it's always good to have those locals, and I've got lots of repeat customers on my website, which I am so very grateful for. It has been a busy day with making as well. So over on the bench there, I haven't made nearly as much as I made yesterday, but over on the bench there we've got a fig and olive hand cream ready to be potted up tomorrow. That's been super popular since I put it out. And I've also got the face cream with the cucumber oil. I made a batch of that up because I only have 3 of those sitting on the shelf. So they will be ready to be potted up tomorrow. I've already done up all their labels. The only thing I haven't done up is like the sample sachets that I do, because I never know how many samples I'm going to get. The way that I squeeze them into the little sachets that I do, sometimes I'm rather generous and sometimes there's just enough. So sometimes out of 100 grams worth of excess, you know, or out of 100 grams worth of product, I might end up with, say, 10 samples, or I might end up with, say, 13 or 14 samples. So I don't actually print them up until I actually know exactly how many I need, because I do put the batch numbers and things on. You need to grab the next lot. But they're all ready for me to bottle up once I actually get in tomorrow. And the other thing I have to do tomorrow is make up these foaming sugar scrubs. I have completely sold out of the coconut lime one, and I've only got 2 left of unicorn fluff and watermelon. So I really need to make these up tomorrow. So I figured I would start just doing up all the packaging so that when I come in tomorrow, I can just get straight in to making these scrubs. Other things I actually have to do tomorrow, I've got 2 soaps coming off the cure rack. One of them is a builder soap. That's the coffee soap that I made last month. It was one that wasn't to be filmed, but you did see me actually making it in the vlog last month. So that's due to come off the cure rack tomorrow. And also the person that actually ordered that one also was the one that wanted a seashells soap. So because I know the seashell soap sells, I did actually make a big batch of those, and she's also ordered 6 of them. So tomorrow I have to get those soaps off the cure rack, get them wrapped, and then I can finally pack Robin's order from last month. And I have also just received an order this afternoon from Tara, again another long time customer of mine. But I'm waiting for a reply from Tara because I've done a naughty. I had a watermelon lip balm in my range, and I've actually run out of the flavour oil, so I had it down as retiring. I had 4 in the container and I had 1 sitting online, so you know, if 1 or 2 sold in the shop I'd be fine. And I didn't register the other day, or earlier today, when someone came in. No, it was yesterday. They came in and they bought 4 lip balms, and I hadn't realised they were all the watermelon ones. So I would have taken it offline if I'd actually been paying attention to that, but I didn't. So I'm really sorry, Tara. I'll wait for your reply to see whether you want a refund for that 1 lip balm or if you want to choose a different flavour. And then hopefully tomorrow I can also get Tara's order all packed up as well. So yeah, I've got about half an hour until I get to go home. So I'm going to have a little bit of a clean up on the bench over there where I do all the cooking. So tomorrow when I come in, I can actually pull out the national shrink wrap, or I think it's now called the natural shrink wrap machine, and we can get those soaps all packaged up before moving on to making the sugar scrubs. But I am absolutely shattered and I have just finished doing this. So I'm going to go and clean up and then sit down for 10 minutes before going home. All right, it has been a really good morning so far, almost wasn't just then. I managed to get all the footage on the vlog edited really quickly this morning. It was a lot more music from yesterday's footage, so that was nice and quick and easy to do. I then had a play with Miss Pepper, and then I came in and I started updating one of my old formulas to go onto the DIY body care website. It is going to be for a solid lotion bar, which is vegan friendly. I am actually planning to bring these back out in my product range for the cooler months. So before I actually bring it out, I'll create a video of me making them and then pop that recipe over onto the DIY body care website. Most of my recipes are available over there if you want to go and check them out. But I'm going to get that one all done up and bring it out some point next month. What else? Traffic coming in today was really, really good. We've got lots and lots of things to do today. So I've just been and pulled this coffee soap from off of the Cure rack, and also Robin wanted 6 of the seashell soaps. So we're going to get those all wrapped up this morning so then I can get on to packing Robin's order. I also heard back from Tara overnight about the lip balm. We're going to replace it with Cool Mint, and I do apologise, Tara. Normally Tara leaves me these beautiful messages. Every time she orders, she always leaves this beautiful message on there. I love reading them, but the first thing I noticed about her order that came in was this watermelon lip balm. So I've quickly emailed her without reading the message, and I've actually read it this morning. And I'm sorry, Tara, I should have wished you in that message a very happy Lunar New Year. So I hope you have a very prosperous and very happy Lunar New Year. We're going to get your order packed up today as well, Tara, and get that one sent out to you. So we've got to do the soaps. I have to make the foaming sugar scrubs, and we've got things over there to package. Now, I'm actually really, really upset about it because I've got so much stuff to do today. And last night, I got home to an order that it actually wasn't meant to be here until next Tuesday, and I got notification to say it was going to arrive on Friday, and then I got home yesterday and I found it, well, hubby actually found it on the doorstep, so I found it on the dining room table. But seeing as I can't play with this right now, you're going to have to wait until I've got my soaps done, my foaming sugar scrubs done, and the lotions packed, and then if I've got time, I will show you what is in this box because I am super excited about this one. Taken me a little bit of jiggling around, but I think we're going to get this order into this box. The next size box I have from this is just going to be way too big. I have actually ordered myself a box resizer because a couple of weeks ago, pretty much every single order I had to send out needed a different size box, and I do have a couple that I can resize, but I never like how they resize. You really need to be scoring the inside of the boxes and things. So I'd been eyeing off this box scorer, and I did order it last week, and it's meant to be arriving today according to Australia Post, but for now we're just going to use this box to pack Robin's order in. So let's see if I can remember how I managed to get this puzzle to fit together. So of course we've got her builder soap here. So the builder soaps don't come packaged like this. They generally are unlabeled, unstamped. They do have all their edges cleaned, and then they come wrapped up and you've got your full list on the front here. So we're going to pop that one in so it's on its side. She then has the 6 of those seashell soaps. You can guess I'm not very good at tongue twisters, but she's got 6 of those. So let's pop all of them in here. Robin used to actually pop into the shop when I was in Cleveland, and she really misses me being down there. She does like to come in and have a smell, but she said that this will have to do, ordering this way. All right, so let's see what else we've got here. So I'm going to mark them off because it's been a while since we've had them, and make sure that all the order's been sitting out the back, but I just want to double check we've got it all right. So we are going for a Noosa Sands. She really likes her exfoliating soaps. That one's got some sand in it. We then have another exfoliating lemon poppy seed. What else have we got here? This one actually doesn't have any exfoliating bits in it, but it is another coffee soap. That's the Espresso Martini. I'm going to lie that one down like that. I did get this in. I know I did. We also have the Rejuvenate. Where are you? There you are. Rejuvenate. We'll cross the espresso off there. And you can tell she is a coffee addict. We've got the Coffee Addict car air freshener, and she's chosen to have the black raspberry vanilla to go with it. So let's pop you in there. Oh, a reed diffuser. I'm going to have to use the bigger box because I forgot to pull the reed diffuser off the shelf. All right, let me go and get myself sorted. All right, we've got the next box size up. This one's going to be too big, but not much you can do about it. Now, I know that all of these were correct, so let's just pop them all in here like so. See, it's just going to be way too big now. I just don't want things kind of rattling around, but I don't think there's going to be much we can do about it. So let's move them so they're like that. We'll get in her coffee air freshener and the black raspberry air freshener scent. Then I have got the reed diffuser. I'm going to go and wrap this up in some honeycomb paper. Now, I probably have gone just a little bit overboard with how much honeycomb paper I've put around that, but I figured it would fill in a space in the box quite well if I did. So let's just remove another one of those because it's definitely filled in the space. Excellent. And of course, we've got the reeds. Now, Robin's initial order came in last month, which was when I was giving away the free pots of the night cream. So we've got one of those in there for her. I'm going to go and grab a ton of paper shred. All right. Because this is quite heavy, I do want to make sure it is quite packed with that paper shred so that when it gets tossed around in the mail system, it doesn't move around in there too much. It is quite literally only going down the street, so it won't be out there for too long, but I still like to make sure that it arrives nice and safely. That's feeling pretty good and compact. All right, I did fix up the labels on my oat and chamomile moisturiser, so we'll pop one of those in. A little ray of sunshine for her as well. I've also got a little magnet and the thank you card to go in there. Now, where have I put my phone? There it is, because we need a little sticker to get this one all sealed up. All right, let's get this one done. If ever you do get a parcel from me, you've got lots of this paper shred in there. There's so many things you can actually do with it. I mean, the most obvious would probably be to save it and use for things like when you do Christmas and birthday presents and stuff like that, and use it as a filler for your own things. I've actually had someone say to me that last time they had a box with quite a bit of that paper shred in, they threw some bird seed into it and their budgie had an absolute ball going through all that shredded paper looking for the seeds. So now it's become a bit of a game. I do things, especially if I've had like that wood fill stuff as well, I save it to go into the fire pit as a starter. There's so much you can do with this paper shred, so make sure you do use it and don't just chuck it in the bin. I am going to pop this to one side and wrap it up in a bit, and we're going to pack Tara's order. All right, so I'm going to do a little bit of a trial run before I put the tissue paper in here, because if it's not the right size I can break it down and put it back in the box here. I just want to make sure I can actually get everything that Tara has ordered into this box. It's probably one of the smallest boxes I've ever used for one of your orders, Tara. And let's have a look and see how we're going to get this all in here. If it will go all in this one. Will that stand up? Not quite. She said in her message as well she was really looking forward to trying the new hand cream. I think we're going to be all right to get all of this into a small box. I know Tara has said to me it is done by weight, but quite often it's also done by sort of size. So I do try to be a little bit more conscious of that for Tara, because she is actually paying forward shipping to get it back over to her. I've been trying to remember which country it's in. I think it's Malaysia. I can't remember. Oh my goodness, I'm so sorry. I'm saying sorry to you a lot this video, aren't I? But she is overseas, and to order from me, she does use the mail forwarding system. So I do try to pack it the most economical way that I possibly can. So I'm pretty sure we're going to get it all into this box. I'm going to go get my tissue paper, and then I'll give you a better look at what Tara has actually ordered here. She has helped me clear out of a few of the soaps, which I was really hoping to be able to do with the soap saver sale. I've got a lot where I've only got like 1 or 2 of them left, and they've just been sitting there, and I've been trying to get rid of them. And quite a few of them have actually cleared out, which means I can start reorganizing my drawers for when all the new soaps come. Or when I actually finally get round to making them, because it didn't happen this week, but that's a good thing. Anyhow, Tara has ordered 2 of the solid dish soaps. She left a really nice comment on my solid dish soap video, and she says how much she likes using that one. I've also got she's also ordered 4 of the small Sorrento Limoncello soap bars. That is the last 4 of those now gone. How did we get them in there? Just like that. All right, we've got 2 of the brand new fig and olive hand creams, so we're going to get those in there. She's grabbed 2 of the calamine Claytanical soaps. This one is the most popular of all the Claytanical soaps, and I've done it for quite a while. It's got such a lovely scent to it too. What else have we got here? We've got the last of the Salt Glow, that's in there, and she's also ordered the last 2 of the Anjou pear. But if you do like this soap, if you've had it and you've liked the scent, the Sweet Pear soap is exactly the same fragrance, so you can still actually get your hands on that one. She's also grabbed 2 of the original facial gel serum with the tomato extract and the niacinamide in it. Let's pop that like that. And then these, how did we get them in before? That's it. Just like that. Let's pop them on their side. That works a bit better, doesn't it? So I'm trying to be economical but not look like I've squished it in either. So I think, whoop. I wonder if, this is why I did a trial run to start with, but obviously that trial run didn't do me much good. I'm actually going to put it up here because these soaps sit a little bit further back. So now I should be able to get one, we'll pop that, and that. Oh, that fits much better. All right, she's also grabbed 2 of the Bat Clip Balms and the 2 lip balms. So she had the Great Blast, and then we've pulled the Cool Mint in place of that watermelon one. So in they go. Let me go and grab all the little extra bits, and then we will get these all packed up and then move on to making sugar scrubs. And I've just read the message once again. It's not Malaysia, sorry, it's Hong Kong that she's in. I knew it was overseas in Asia. I couldn't quite remember. Let's blame it on the perimenopause, that's for sure. But she's in Hong Kong using the mail forwarding. So I'm going to get this one all done up and, as I said, move on to making the foaming sugar scrubs. It has just gone 2 o'clock and I am feeling super accomplished today. The only thing I haven't actually done is the tallow products. Now I do actually have enough tallow creams sitting on the shelf that I'm happy to have that stock. I just really wanted to get that tallow balm out, but it was more important to get all of the current stock that's online and visible on the shelf, get all of that made and restocked before I actually start working on products that is only for now going to be in the shop. If I've got time later on this afternoon or even tomorrow, I will start that process of making the tallow balms. They just need that sort of cooling down time, so they do take about 24 hours for me to do them. So we'll see how we go, but everything has been done. I have got samplers coming out of my ears. This container is what lives underneath the counter, and every time people make a purchase in the shop, I will give them a sample, and I try and always match samples if I can. So like I had someone in the other day, they bought the fresh magnesium lotion, so I popped in a calm magnesium lotion just to give them options. I've had it as well. I had someone who couldn't decide which face cream. They ended up taking one of them, so I gave them a sampler of the other. So I always try and match samples to what people have, or if I think that, you know, if they've bought a face mask, I'll try and put a face cream in there. You know, it just really depends. I've also got my box for orders. This is jam-packed so much I've had to put some in a separate container to the side. So I am well and truly right for samplers for a while, but it's one of those things, it looks like I've got so many samplers, but trust me, I get through them so quickly that I'll actually get to a point where I've got hardly any left, and then I'm scrambling to make more. So it's not a bad thing to have that many. While I was making up the foaming sugar scrubs, I got another order come in, and this is for a very good friend of mine, Jo, who is over in Western Australia. And I have known Jo, I was trying to think about it the other day, because she actually posted the other day that she's now been in Australia for 20 years. It was like, where has that time gone? Which then means I've known Jo for a lot longer than that. We actually met when I was working in the UK. After I finished university, it was just when 9/11 had happened, and the traineeships I had lined up here in Australia at some international hotels all fell through because international travel just plummeted. And I ended up instead applying for a traineeship in the UK. So I went over there in 2021. And so that means I can't exactly remember when we met, whether she started at the same time as me or not. We were both trainee managers there. I think she started a little bit later than me. But it was one of those things that as soon as we met, we kind of just clicked. And we've been really good friends ever since. And we're the sort of friends who might not see each other for ages, but you put us in a room together and it's like we've never been apart. So very, very good friend of mine, and she's constantly supporting me. So let's see what Jo has ordered and get it all packed. She has grabbed a cocoa nuts bar. She's also grabbed the last 2 of the calming citrus that is in the drawer. I might have a couple more on the shelf, which may appear online a little bit later. I'll talk about that more another time. She's also ordered one of our everyday bamboo and white lily soap bars, and she's grabbed 2 of the seashell soaps. So let's get those in there. She has ordered the Berry Crush lip oil, and so that she can shout at me, I'm going to give her the sugar scrub to go with it. She knows I always pop things in there, and then I know I always get shouted at by her for including little extras. All right, so let's get a little bit of paper in there. Actually, Jo is one of the reasons I'm working on some new creams over there. Her youngest had a little bit of an accident because she's a little bit of a daredevil, and they tried her with some of the magnesium cream with the arnica in it. She really wasn't a fan, more so because she thought that it was going to be a miracle cure than anything. But I did say I would actually try and work on a cream that had the arnica in it, but without the magnesium. So I am working on that one for them. Now she does have 2 little ones, so I always usually include 2 little rays of sunshine so that they can have 1 each. And I'm also going to include, because I've just got so many of them, going to include samplers of all the little new products for her. She can have a little magnet, the thank you card, and then we're going to get this one all wrapped up and pop it in with the other parcels, ready to go down to the post office this afternoon. So I'll get that wrapped up, and then I won't keep you in suspense anymore, mainly because I don't want to keep myself in suspense either. Once I've got it all wrapped up, I will go and grab the parcel that I got delivered yesterday. All right, no, we are not going to unbox what I have because we've just had another order come in. I'm going to take that off my head now. It's starting to get a bit tight, but we got another order here. I was wondering if William was going to order. He usually does order during a vlog week and stock up on soaps. He should be getting a renewal coming up soon for his subscription for the melts as well, so I think that comes in over the weekend, but we'll get this one all packed up. I have just realised I've run out of my favourite shipping box, so I'll have to bring some more of that in with me tomorrow, but hopefully we can get everything into this shipping box. So let's take a look and see what William has ordered. William is also a Pamper Club member, so not only does he save with the Soap Saver special that we've got going at the moment, he also gets further discount with his Pamper Club membership. But let's take a look, and thankfully, thank you so much, he's cleared me out of a few more of the soaps. So the orange cranberry has now gone. That was one of the Christmas ones that I did this year, so that's now all gone. He's grabbed a Rejuvenate, eucalyptus sage, and Aussie bush, which is one of the Claytanicals. The Claytanicals range is about to get a little bit of a makeover. I'm going to just bring out a set range in them, so there's a few in there that I'm going to be looking at doing a clearance on in the next couple of months. So let me just mark those off to make sure that I did get all of those. Yep, that's 4. He has also grabbed our Mango Cocoa. We have a Pretty in Pink. This one's been sitting on my shelf for so long. I don't think anyone really likes it, which is a shame. We've got another Claytanicals. This one is calamine, and I will have to make another batch of that next week because that one is selling super fast. He has also grabbed one of our oatmeal and goat's milk, and again, I'm going to have to make one of those next week because there's only one left in the drawer. And then I also have the seashells. So I've almost sold half of the batch of that already, and it's only just come out on the shelf. Oops. And we've also got one of the white patchouli everyday soap bars, and then he has also grabbed a peachy glow and a velvet cocoa lip balm. So let's sneak them in there. I'll go and grab all the bits that usually go in here. All right, so I'm going to get all my usual little bits in. Let's see where we can pop our little ray of sunshine. I like to make it so that people see that little ray of sunshine when they open the parcel, and it just gives them a smile. So we should be able to tuck that one in there, and then we'll pop these other bits in the top here. Now, while I finish packing and wrapping this one, and before we unbox that other parcel, I've just hinted a couple of times that I will be looking to clear out a few of these soaps in the next coming months from out of the Claytanicals range, just to make room for how I want the Claytanical range to work, and that is I'm going to have set soaps, and they'll pretty much be the same soaps that I have in my wholesale range of natural soaps. So they're going to be available both retail and wholesale, so I'm going to be doing that. But it does mean that I've got a few in there that I kind of made experimenting with that isn't available as part of the wholesale range, and I want to have a look at getting rid of them to make room on the shelf to bring out the correct range of soaps. Now, it's not going to happen this month, next month, or even towards the end of April, it will start happening. Hubby and I are having a big holiday. We've got this big holiday planned for the end of April, beginning of May, and I've been sitting and thinking about it for the last few days, because at the end of the day, even though we're on holiday, I still chuck things around. I still have to pay the rent, I still have to pay my electricity, I still have to pay my phone bill, my internet bills and everything else, even though I'm actually not at the shop for about 2 weeks. So what I'm going to be doing is, while we're on holiday, there is going to be a big sales section on the website, just to try and generate a few sales that way. So while we're holidaying, I'm still making a little bit of money, hopefully. So yeah, that's going to be the plan. I'm going to, over the next few weeks, we've got 8 weeks until we go on holiday. So over the next sort of 5 weeks, I'll start looking at what needs to be cleared out. We'll make up a big thing for while I'm away. And I am so looking forward to this holiday. We haven't had a proper big holiday for quite a few years now. It's been at least, well, we haven't had one since moving to the coast, and it's almost been 2 years. And I think it was a year before that we'd had a holiday. So it's been at least 3 years. So we've kind of planned, it went from being a small trip to a big trip, because we just thought, let's just do it. So basically what happened is, last year, I think it was about October last year, hubby presented me with our combined birthday presents. I have wanted to see the Phantom of the Opera since forever. And I've had a couple of opportunities in my life to go and see it, but it's never been convenient to go and see it at that time. There's been 3 opportunities where I've been able to go and see it. One was at the Queen's Theatre in London, and it was just on too late for us to get back to the hotel in time. So we actually chose to go and see Chicago instead. And although I loved Chicago, there are some days when I think, oh, I wish I'd been and seen Phantom instead in the Queen's Theatre and that sort of thing. But it is what it is. And then I've had a couple of opportunities here in Australia, but they're always down in Sydney and Melbourne, these really big shows, never up in Queensland. So it's always been really expensive, and they came up when we were living up in far north Queensland, so it was just too expensive, and other things were happening at the time. So I've never been able to see it. And then last year I heard that it had stopped, that the Phantom of the Opera was no longer touring. I had heard, I don't know how true it is, had heard that it had stopped showing in the London theatres and everything. And I said to hubby, I said, I don't think I'm ever going to get to see it. I think it's just not in production anymore. And then he actually found out from his mum, who had booked tickets, that it is on show down in Sydney, and it's potentially one of the last times for a while, that like in the foreseeable future, that it's going to actually tour. So hubby's just gone, blow it, I'm buying tickets no matter how much they cost. And he actually went and bought us some tickets to go and see Phantom of the Opera down at the Sydney Opera House. And I think it's going to be absolutely amazing. So we were contemplating, flying down for the weekend, watching the show. And it's like, neither of us really like Sydney. I'm sorry for those of you that live down there, but it's just not our cup of tea. We really are country people. It's like, I really don't want to go to Sydney for a holiday. Like, I want to go and see the show, but I don't want to go to Sydney. So we sat there discussing, we thought, okay, well, if we're going to book flights and it's going to be a couple of days, it's going to cost us a fair bit of money to fly down and, public transport and all that sort of stuff. And I said, well, how about we drive down? It's only about, I think it's a 9.5, 10-hour drive, which, yeah, that is a fair distance, but it's also not a fair distance when you're talking Australia. So we decided, well, we'll actually drive down. So we'll drive down and we'll just make it a longer trip. We'll go and do what we need to do in Sydney, watch the show, catch up with George, and then we'll just come back out of Sydney and we'll go somewhere else, somewhere that, we actually want to go. And I sat there looking at it, and it's like, both of us have done the east coast of New South Wales a lot over the year, like since we were kids. We've been to Byron Bay, been to Coffs Harbour, we've been to all those sort of places. And I sat there looking, I said to hubby, have you ever been to Bathurst? Because he's a big car nut. And he says, no, I've never been to Bathurst. Now, Bathurst, for those of you who don't know, is one of the big Australian V8 car racetracks, and it's not far out from Sydney. And I said, well, why don't we go to Bathurst for a day? And we'll go and have a drive around. And then it kind of got to, oh, Dubbo's only up the road. And I said to him in the end, I said, look, why don't we make it? We'll drive down to Sydney, do that on the first day. We'll spend the couple of days we need to in Sydney watching the show, catch up with George, and then let's drive out west and then back up through central Queensland. It's like, okay, let's have a look at it. So we had a look, and that's what we've decided to do. So we're going to actually, so looking forward to it. We're going to drive out west. We're going to go and see some caves, like stalagmites and stalactites. I think they're both in these caves, in a place called Wellington, or Wellington Caves. And then we're actually going to stay the night at Dubbo Zoo, which is a Western Plains zoo with all the African animals. And we're going to be staying on the edge of one of the animal enclosures. Absolutely fantastic. We're also going to go and visit some of the hot springs and things in places like Cunnamulla. And then we're going to drive all the way up to Charleville, and we're going to spend a couple of nights in Charleville and go and see Lee while we're up there. And it'll be the first time hubby has ever met Lee. He's seen and heard her on videos, and he's like, I think she's going to just be an absolutely fantastic person. So I think you're going to get on like a house on fire. You just both have that same sort of quirky humour. So we're going to go and spend a couple of nights in Charleville, and then we'll drive back across, and we're going to go and visit some gorges and things before we actually come back home. So it's going to be a massive trip. I think it's 10 days. So it's going to be huge, but desperately need this holiday. But while we're away, I will be having a big sale on the website because I need to pay that rent even though I'm not in the shop. So yeah, that's what's happening. I'm going to go and get that parcel and show you what I got. All right, let's get this one unboxed. I actually learnt something new with this parcel as well. This has actually come from, and I am so sorry if I am butchering this name because it's new to me. This parcel has come from Turkey. Told you I was going to butcher it. As in a country, not from a person or a business. It's come from Turkey. I think that's how it is now pronounced. And I was really confused when I ordered this because I ordered this from off of Etsy, and I'm thinking, that's a really funny way of spelling turkey. Why have they spelt turkey that way? And of course, because my mind just likes to know stuff, I did a bit of a deep dive into why Turkey, I was assuming it was Turkey, was listed as Turkey. And apparently in June of 2022, Turkey put forward an application to the United Nations or something to have their name formally changed to the Turkish word for Turkey, which is Turkiye. It's Turkiye. And apparently it's something to do with moving away from the idea of the bird turkey and the negative connotations that turkey can actually have, like when you call somebody a turkey because they've done something silly. So yeah, I actually learned something new, and I thought, well, that's a real shame that they've gone to all this effort to actually officially change their name. But I've never heard it. Like, wouldn't you then make sure that the world actually knows your new name? But anyhow, that's just a little quirk of mine. But I have a new toy here. I want to bring back shower fizzers. I discontinued them a little while ago because I was unhappy with the boxes. I was unhappy with the scents, and they just weren't. Products tend to have their sort of day sort of thing. So it might sit on the shelf and you sell it really, really well for a couple of years, then all of a sudden sales just drop off because people have moved on from that particular thing. And I just felt that people had moved on from shower fizzers or shower steamers, whatever people want to call them. So I thought it actually needs to have a bit of a look, a rebranded sort of thing. And it was all happening at the same time that I'm going through perimenopause. So I've kind of just cancelled them and then never really I had all the intentions of getting new packaging and new scents, and every time I sat down to think about doing it, I just never did it. Just couldn't get into that frame of mind of doing it. Well, now I'm actually in that frame of mind that, yes, I can finally bring back the shower fizzers. The problem is, I do find it very difficult to use things like hand presses. I don't have a lot of strength in my shoulders. My hands get really sore and inflamed, especially working in air conditioning and stuff. So I do have the pneumatic press, but that goes on a compressor, which is loud, noisy, and I've got other businesses beside me. And yes, the hairdresser is loud and noisy, but it's fun, loud and noisy, and what you would expect. You don't expect huge, heavy machinery going off every, few minutes. So I've kind of really put it off because of not being able to use the compressor, and I don't want to have to come in super early in the morning to make shower fizzers each time. So what I have decided to do is go and get myself a new hand press, but like I said, I do find it very difficult to use hand presses, so I was really particular about the sort that I wanted to get. I didn't want one where you have to push down on it, because I just can't do it. And I was watching a few different videos, doing a bit of research, and then I saw someone using this particular style and how they said it was, so much easier on their hands and stuff like that. So I went and had a look. They were having a sale at the time. I will leave links to the business down below. But I decided that, you know what, I'll get myself this hand press and see how we go, and hopefully I will be able to bring back the shower fizzers. Now, I will still make my shampoo bars with the pneumatic press. I'll come in every few months. I'll come in and I just make a massive batch run of shampoo bars, and I do actually feel to make successful shampoo bars that don't come apart easily, you do need that pneumatic press to get that really even press. Oh, I really like the design of these. Anyhow, I'll show you what they are in a minute. So I will continue to make the shampoo bars with the pneumatic press, but hopefully if I can get back into, oh, that should be square, not round. Oh, okay, I think he's either misunderstood what I was asking for. Oh well. Maybe it's a sign. So yeah, I will still make those, but hopefully with this sort of press, I might be able to get the shower fizzers back up and running and in store again. I am not making bath bombs. I cannot make bath bombs. They just don't work for me for some reason. But anyhow, let's take a look at this press. Now, I only actually got the basic model of this one, which it did say that it was predominantly plastic with some metal workings. There is a more expensive model. I think it was almost twice the price, that is all metal, but I figured to start with, to see if this is going to be something I continue on with, I will just get the cheaper model. And it does look like this might actually be 3D printed for most of this. And we've got some little plates and stuff. And the idea is with this handle, it works on a cranking system. All right, let's get you up there so I'm a little bit more in frame. So rather than having to pull down on it, I can actually just wind it down, which I think is just going to be so much better for me. And it reckons it's got, I think it was like 350 kilograms of pressure or something once you've got your sort of molds in and underneath. It's going to give that sort of really good pressure. We'll have to see. I might have to actually, we'll see. We'll see how it all goes. Now, it does feel like it is really well made, even though it is predominantly, I'm thinking it is 3D printed. It's just kind of got that feel to it, but it has got the sort of metal pins and stuff in there. It does have little rubber feet on the bottom of it as well. That little plate sits in there, but you know what? If I ever, because it does say that The next model up does also have the ability to move this plate on the bottom, but I'm kind of thinking that if ever I need something a little bit sort of shallower, I can always go, Lee, can you please make me a plate to go in here? But it does appear to be really well made. Now, as part of the listing, it did say there were 2 free gifts of molds to go with it, and these are definitely 3D printed. But you tell you what, I really like how they've done these molds. One of my sort of bugbears when people do molds in 3D print is that they don't kind of, like, these just slip and slide out. So I always think, you know, one day I'm going to fill these up and go to put it in there and the bottoms are going to fall out. So I kind of get a bit funny with them, but I do like the fact that he's put a little lip onto the bottom of the molds. Now, when I asked for my free molds, there's all sorts of different ones. There's like hearts and clouds and all these different shapes, but I figured I'm just going to go for my standard sort of shapes that I use within the business, because there's no point having molds that I'm just not going to use. So I did actually ask for a second shampoo mold. So this is my normal shampoo mold that I use. I thought, you know, it doesn't hurt to have a backup. The only thing is, I'm pretty sure this is not the size I asked for. No, it's definitely not the size I asked for. I asked for 2 1/4, I think it is. Yeah, I asked for 2 1/4 as my shampoo mold, and this is definitely not. This is only 2 inches, so that's a bit of a shame that it's the wrong size. And then the other thing is, I actually also asked for a square one, but he has sent me what size is this? 1 1/2. No, 1 3/4. Oh well. But maybe that's a sign. I was going to do my my shower steamers. I had Lee from Wicked Lee make me this square one. I was going to do my shower steamers maybe in a square, but do you know what? That would actually probably make quite a nice little shower steamer puck. So maybe it's a sign. Maybe he just knew that I needed something different. But anyhow, despite getting the wrong molds, which doesn't really matter because I already have them, but if I didn't already have molds, I would be a little bit upset about that. Other than that, it does actually look like it's a really good press, and hopefully it is going to be good for me and mean that I can, let's see. Oh yeah, once it comes down, you can actually push that little bit further and you can feel that force going down. So I don't think I've got time to play with it this afternoon because it's 3 o'clock, which is a shame. But what we'll do tomorrow is when I come in tomorrow, I'll make up a very quick batch of some shower fizzer and we'll have a play with it tomorrow. But being 3 o'clock, I need to go and get all the shipping labels done up for the parcels that have come in, and then have a bit of a tidy up, get myself all reset, ready for tomorrow. So yeah, I'm gonna go and do all of that now. it is time to play. I've had a few customers come through the shop this morning, so I'm finally having a quiet moment so we can have a good play with this. The other thing I've been doing with my shower steamer, shower fizzer recipe is trying to adjust it a little bit just to try and get it that little bit stronger. And if I do bring these out, before most of my shower steamers did have fragrance oils in, except for one of them, I want to try and bring out a few more that actually have essential oils in. So I really want to have a play with that. But I do tend to find the essential oil blend ones tend to work best when you've got menthol crystal, but menthol crystal doesn't go with all essential oil blends. So I want to have a little bit of a play with different scents. But for today, I'm actually doing one that's lime and spearmint, and this is going to be, if they work, I will send a few of these to Lee. It was kind of the condition, it was well over a year ago. I've been so bad. She made me this mold on the condition that I made her some shower fizzes with spearmint in, and I know she's forgotten. She's going to be watching this and go, oh, I forgot about that. But I haven't forgotten, but I'm now finally able to do it. So I'm going to make these ones up, see how I'll keep a couple for myself to use at home, and then I'll also send some on to Lee to have a go with. And I realised this morning while I was editing, I was having a real moment yesterday when I kept putting these under the thing and then winding it down and pushing it down and thinking, you know, they're not really that firmly held in place. The reason being is because these are, when you look at it, these are touching each other. But once you actually get your mix in there, that bottom plate will sit up and then get pushed down. So I was just having a moment. But now that I've got all that sorted, I'm going to have a bit of a play with these different molds and see which one I end up using. Because the other thing is, when my shower steamers come out, because I am increasing the amount of essential oils, it does basically almost double the cost of them. So I'm actually making them half the size, so I can still offer them at the same price, but hopefully they will also perform a lot better, and that cost, the size reduction but the price staying the same, will be worth it. So let's just see how things go. So I've got all my mix ready. Let's tear that out. What did I just decide I was going to put in here? Not that much, that's for sure. Let me just go and double check what I decided I was going to do. All right, so that's still a little bit much. So let's take some of that out. I just want to see what sort of sizes we end up with and that sort of thing. So we just need a little bit more back in that one. Pop that one down, pop the top on. I'm also very conscious I'm listening to people walking up and down the street out there, because I think it's going to be another really, really good day. So what we're going to now do is wind the handle down. I can already feel that pressure. Oh, that feels good. So there's not a lot of pressure from me, which is absolutely fantastic. I'm going to pull that one out. And should have actually gone and got my little pokey tool. That's one thing that's missing with this machine, is one of those little lift tools. I have got one, I'm just being lazy. Let me stop being lazy and go and get it. All right, I've got my proper little tool. All right, let's push that up and out. Oh, I don't think I like, that's the sort of size I want, but I don't know, they look a bit funny in that sort of shape at that size. Yeah, no, don't like that. That sort of look, but don't worry, that mold will get used for other things. What I am going to do is grab that smaller mold that he sent me, and like I said, this was not the shape that I wanted, but maybe he knew something that I didn't know at the time. So let's get some mix into this mold. It's just a little bit too much, that's perfect. We'll pop the top on, crank that down. Oh gosh, that does feel good. Wind it back up. Now, it's the only thing, let's do it that way. Oh, I like. He definitely knew I needed that mold. How awesome does that look? Really, really happy with that one. All right, so I think that is definitely going to be the the size that we go for. Oh, now I think I am starting to see why people make the molds the way they do, so that they just slip out the bottom. It will take a little bit of getting used to with this one, but this is going to be the size that I am wanting. Let's measure the next one out. Oh, really, really liking that. In it goes. And I'm actually not having to, I can see the camera shaking, I'm sorry. I'm actually not having to put a lot of pressure on there, but I can feel the pressure going down on it. I might have to wet the feet of this after I finish doing the video, actually stick it to the surface and try not to bounce you too much. But I'm loving them. I am absolutely loving the shape of them, love the size of them. So what I'll have to now do is I'll finish making all of these up. I'll leave them to dry over the weekend. I'll probably actually take a couple home with me and then maybe try one on Monday. I just want to try a slightly different size in here. I'll try one on Monday and see how well they perform. And then decide what to do with the remaining ones. I'm just going to try filling these up. I kind of wanted to make them 40 grams, which I then generally measure them out to be 45. So if we get any shrinkage or anything like that over the the couple of days that they're drying, they still come up at 40. But when it comes to taking the stuff out of the pot, it is going to be easier to kind of do them in lots of 50, so 50, 100 and going that sort of way. That's got a little bit of crumbing on it. I'm just conscious of knocking the camera, so I'm maybe not being as firm as I need to be. But then we'll just see what this one looks like, because measuring them out, I've completely lost my train of thought then. Measuring them out in terms of 50, 100, that's going to be easier out of the pot rather than 45, 90, 135, doing it that way. It doesn't make an awful lot of difference. It just depends what it does to the difference in the cost and also packaging. That's the other thing I've got to consider. I do actually want to change the style of packaging. But no, I think I am actually preferring the slightly smaller one as opposed to that little 50 gram one. But I am going to leave that one because I do know that I've got room for 5 gram of difference in mix from making those 45. So I'm going to carry on making those and then we'll see what else we end up doing for the day, because I'm just excited now. We might finally get shower fizzes. I have to work out the scents, work out the packaging, and then hopefully have them out before winter really hits so we can bring out those fresh shower fizzes again. But I'm going to get on with making these. But I may have to talk to you, Lee, about making me another a mold that's actually this size and shape, because I think this one is a little bit rough. I might need to do something to make sure it slides, but as much as I like the bottom on there, I can now see why so many people actually don't do it. I think what it is my original molds that I had with my very first press, they were all metal and they've got little metal bars across the bottom of it. So when you slide your piece in, they sit on these little metal bars and then they still push up. Whereas you just can't do that with the 3D printing because they are going to become really fragile. So it's kind of a bit of a catch-22, I think, of how the best way is to get them to work. But we'll see. Yeah, anyhow, I'm going to keep making these up. I'm so super excited to be making these. It's been so long. And then I'll clean up my mess, because shower fizzes are so messy to make. They really are. Ooh, okay. I'm going to keep going on with it. And as I said, the link to this is down in the description box. Although, yeah, the molds, I've had a little bit of a problem with the mold. The actual press itself, fantastic. The service I got in terms of how quick it got here, absolutely fantastic as well. So I've left all that down below. Gonna go and finish making. I need to get my music in my door back on and open. All right, so as you can see, I have now cleaned up my bench after making a right royal mess. You cannot make shower fizzes and bath bombs without making a mess, which is one of the reasons why I always used to do them at home, like in my old shed, apart from the air compressor thing, but I actually can't make them at home because of our water system. So I'm gonna have to make them down at the shop and just have a big clean up after making them. But that's all done. The other thing that was all done was the pestering of Lee. As soon as I got cleaned up, I wrote to her and I said, when are your 3D printers going to be up and running again? So if you don't know, Lee's actually moved to outback Queensland where it is very, very hot. We might have a 35-degree day here in the area I'm in, but they'll be up at 39, 40 plus sort of degrees. So it's very, very hot where she is, and apparently 3D printers don't always cope with that sort of thing. She is giving them a bit of a trial run at the moment, apparently. So she said that she will make me the right size. So I've asked her for the same size of that little one I've just been using, but without that plate in the bottom of it. I honestly did think that would be a great way of doing it so that, you know, they don't fall off. Like sometimes if you pick things up and you're not holding them properly and stuff, but it turns out it's not a good design. It actually slowed me down in the making process. It's really hard to explain. If you're a maker, you probably know how this could probably slow you down, but she is going to make me the way that she makes her mold. She's going to make it for me. But yeah, really quite happy that he did send me the incorrect or a different mold. I don't know if I've ended up with someone else's order maybe to have had them both incorrect. I don't know, but it was actually a blessing in disguise because I'm far happier having those shower fizzes like that. I now just have to decide on packaging. I want to move away from the boxes that I had my shower fizzes in. I just felt when they didn't sell quick enough, the air could still get into the boxes and through the biodegradable film. Love biodegradable film, but it is not good for keeping things airtight because that's just the nature of biodegradable stuff. So I kind of want to move away from that. And as terrible as it is to say, I want to go into little plastic pouches, but it will actually give better longevity on the actual product. So even if it's sat on my shelf, I used to say to people that I used to have to get them sold within 3 months and then they'd have to be used within sort of 6 months of purchasing them from me to make sure that they were nice and fresh and worked properly. Whereas if I'm going to have them in this new packaging, I won't have that sort of necessity to use them so quickly because this is kind of like a little example. Once it's in there and sealed, the air can't get in and they're well and truly protected. So even though it's not going to be environmentally the best thing, I will do a little bit of searching around, see what environmental style packaging I can get like this. But I do want to try and change it up, but I'm trying to decide whether to keep doing them as a single fizzer or maybe do them in a pack of multiples. All things I have to decide, also have to decide on what sense. There's something sticking up in my floor. I need to go and have a look at what it is. I know you guys probably can't see it, but from where I am, I can actually see something sticking up. Oh, it's just what is it? Oh, there's a cobweb there. Whatever it is, it's a piece of tissue paper. I was actually just a bit more concerned that the floorboard was coming up and someone was gonna stab themselves with a piece of splintered wood, but no, it's just a bit of paper. Oh, phew. All right, back to this. So yeah, a few decisions to make. I think I know what scents I want to do. I'm kind of looking at bringing out 4 or 5 essential oils and 4 or 5 fragrance oils. We'll see how things go. Anyhow, while I was making those shower steamers or fizzers. That's the other thing. I've asked people what they think. Should I do a fizzer or a steamer? I'll get onto this in a minute. Initially, when I bought out my shower fizzers, as I called them that because I had this sort of feeling that shower steamer was going to be trademarked because it was already a product that was out there. They may have trademarked the name, but apparently it's not trademarked. It is just a generic term that anybody can use. So I'm kind of thinking rather than calling them shower fizzers, I'm going to move back over to shower steamer because that's what most people know them as. And a few people used to get confused with me when I said they were a shower fizzer. Oh, so they're not a shower steamer. It's like, well, yeah, they're technically the same thing. It's just a a different name. So I think I want to go back to, calling them a shower steamer, but just asking my customers what they think. But anyhow, I did get a couple of orders come through while I was making those, and they are both subscription orders, one from off DIY Body Care and one from off Soy and Shea. So we're going to get these ones packed. So the first one I am going to do is from off the DIY Body Care website. This one is for Samantha. So this is the formulator experience, which means that I send out a actual product that goes along with the month's recipe. And this month's recipe that was released was this fig and olive hand cream. Now, because I sell this on the shelf and on DIY Body Care, I usually leave a few which are unlabeled. So when we get to the end of the month, if I've got any left that are unlabeled, I can actually just pop on some Soy and Shea labels. But if they have the DIY Body Care label on, they're a little bit hard to remove and relabel. So just popped on the label for the hand cream, and we're going to get this one sent off. So the way things get packaged with DIY Body Care, there's still a lot of care and love that goes into it, but it's a little bit more simple than what I do for Soy and Shea. So I don't tend to actually wrap these boxes up in the paper. It still gets that bit of paper shred and stuff just to keep the products nice and safe. And we've got our own little custom stickers for all the DIY ones. I'm going to get this one all sealed, all closed up. And as I said, we don't wrap these ones up in paper. Just grab a little satchel here. I know that this will actually go as an extra small, so I'm not using the standard Australia Post small satchels, because they don't do an extra small satchel. It's a bubble mailer, which is really annoying. I'll show you it in a moment. So we'll get this one all wrapped up for Samantha, and then the next thing I have to do then is to jump on the computer and also send her the digital copy of the recipe to go along with this hand cream. So just squeeze all the air out, grab some tape and sticky tape down all the little ears. And just in case anyone's wondering, because I do use a lot of tape for doing this, this is actually biodegradable tape. If you're here in Australia, Officeworks sells it in a box of 6, and it is the most fantastic packing tape ever. So when I was first started sort of sending with Australia Post, the guys in the post office told me you always need to sticky tape your ears down so that they don't get stuck in the machine. So they were always sticky taping my labels. And I thought, well, if I'm going to be using that much sticky tape and I'm having to use plastic satchels and stuff, I actually do want to try and find a biodegradable one. And I was really worried at first, because quite often packing tape, if you don't spend good money on packing tape, it just doesn't stick. It's not expensive, but it's not cheap. It's kind of middle of the range. And I was a bit sort of, I wonder if it will actually work or not. And when I got it in and tried it, I can tell you it stuck better than the packing tape that I had, which I was paying good money for. It's super, super sticky, and I've never ever had a problem with it. Anyway, on to the next order. This is another subscription one. This is one from off Soy and Shea, and it is for Julie, and she's already said she can't wait to get this month's collection of melts. She got last month's as well, but she has now got the monthly melt edit, which is a selection of 5 melts in exclusive scents, not available in the rest of the range, all based on a certain theme. This month was Love is in the Air. So we've got Black Rose and Oud. We've got Flirtatious, Blush and Bubbles, which is actually champagne and strawberries, but we're not allowed to use the word champagne anymore, so I called it Blush and Bubbles. We've got some Love Spell and Gentleman After Dark as well. So we're going to get this all packed in. This is Julie's second subscription, so she gets the 5. On her first subscription, she actually got 5 plus a bonus melt, and every 4th subscription on the monthly melt edit does actually come with a bonus 4th 4th melt. So I've got a couple of people on this subscription. So come April, if they've had the March subscription and we come into April and they renew again, then they will actually get 6 melts in April as well. All right, let's grab the sticker. I'm gonna grab my little sticky here. We're gonna pop that on there. Close it all up. I should have one more subscription coming through for the month, which means I need to make some more because I ended up with an extra person ordering the melt subscription this month. And because it's kind of still relatively new, I only make up a few melts. So that will be something to make up next week, just to make sure I've got enough for that last subscription and not have any left over. Let's do that. So because this one is off the Soy and Shea, even though it's a subscription, it still gets the wrapping paper treatment. Sounds like the girls next door are having a bit of fun today. I don't know if it's coming through on the microphone. Sometimes it doesn't. I'm pretty sure that one did though. Whatever's going on next door. It's quite funny. Sometimes I get home after hearing them all giggling and stuff next door. And then I see their stories on Instagram and I can see why they've been giggling and carrying on. It's quite funny. So we're going to get this one all wrapped up. Well, so when I go to the post office on Monday, I'm going to have to ask for some more of these extra small satchels. Australia Post bought these out, like these extra small ones, to bring down the cost of postage, but they are absolutely useless because you can fit hardly anything into them. But I did work out with my little melt boxes so that I could offer the free postage and take advantage of these smaller satchels. I had to search and search and search until I found the right size box, and then I can actually just slide them into the little satchel here, but that's pretty much all it sort of takes. So it was a very good initiative from them, but if they just bought out the regular satchels like this, we would have been able to get a lot more into them for that extra small. I'm not going to seal it up right now because the other problem with these is it's actually easier to put your shipping label in when there's nothing on them. If you try and put them in when they've got stuff in, they just get all crinkled and whatnot. So there is Julie's. I'm ready to get the shipping label on that one in a bit. Now I do also have the March melt collection all ready to go as well. I didn't mean to make them in such pale colours, but that was just what they came out in. This, for March, we're going to be doing a spa collection. So they're all going to be quite calming scents. We've got Lotus Bloom. If anyone likes the Spa Retreat or Lotus Flower soaps that I've done in the past, or the shower steamers that used to be in Spa Retreat, you're going to love a Lotus Bloom because it is the same scent. It's a very calming but a little bit of spice in it as well. We've got Bathhouse, so it really just smells like you've relaxed in a lovely bath and just unwinding. We have Serenity. This one is Sanctuary, and this one's meant to kind of evoke a spa-like hotel sort of smell. And then we've got Verdant Calm. So those of you that really love like the smell of gardens and that sort of thing, that is going to be the most calming for you. So we've got those all ready to go out for the March monthly melt edit. So again, you can actually purchase these as a single purchase or do it as a subscription. Either way, if you do it as a subscription, you do get that free postage on all following orders. So if you order it on your first order and put other things into your cart, you still have to pay postage, but any future subscriptions that go out just as a subscription includes postage. So that's that. That is pretty much all I'm going to do for today, I think. Oh, it's only 11 o'clock. There might be time for a little bit more playing. We'll see. I want to have a little bit of a clean up. It's been a massive, massive week in the shop, but it's also been a really, really productive week. You can see the shelves all really nice and full, really happy. I know the shampoo bars look a little bit low, but I've got plenty of them down in the drawer down there, so not too worried about that. But it's been a really, really productive week. And I think what I need to do is actually clean up the space, get myself all set, because next week I actually have to make soaps. I really have to make soaps. The Soap Saver sale has gone so well, so I actually need to start making new ones. As I said, I need to make a new calamine, oat and goat milk one. I need to make some decorative soaps because I've got hardly any of those, and with Mother's Day not far away, I really need to get on top of that. So that's going to be next week's plan, but in order for me to do that, to get all those soaps made, I also need to clear the cure rack. Over the last few weeks, I've actually still been making lots and lots of soap, but these are all wholesale soaps that are sitting on here. They do take up a fair bit of space, but I wanted to be able to make a load of wholesale soaps so that people know exactly how much is available, and you know, it just makes it easier for everyone. If I've got the soaps in stock, I'm not stressed about people waiting. People can actually restock their shelves easily because they know what I've got, and all sorts. And we've also got another really special soap in here, which is actually going off to a charity. That's actually going to go off into some hampers and things for families who are in need, whether it's through domestic violence or any other number of reasons. These are going to go out in these little charity baskets for people. So that's still got another 3 weeks, I think, till it can come off the cure rack, or maybe 2.5 weeks now. But there is a lot of soap on there that needs to come off, and I need to make more next week. So I'm going to get on with actually cleaning up this space so I can reset my mind and kind of get myself ready for next week. Oh, that was the other thing. Another new toy. This is a box resizer that I have got in. Very impressed with it. I don't think I've got any boxes to even be able to show you without destroying one. No, I haven't. Yes, I do. Let's do one of these. So sometimes when we go to package things, we've got boxes which are too small, but the next size up is way too big, and it does really push postage up if your boxes are big, 'cause especially here in Australia, you can get stuff done. Like putting them in the satchels, you can get up to 5 kilos in a satchel. But when it comes to a box, you're charged two ways. It's either by weight or by cubic weight, whichever one is the biggest. So even if you've got 500 grams of stuff in a massive box, and that box has a cubic weight of 2 kilos, you're going to get charged for 2 kilos, even though you've only got 500 grams. So sometimes you want to actually reduce the size of those boxes because they're just too big, which will then reduce the cost of your shipping as well. And it also reduces the cost of all the fill that you have to put in. If your box is too big, you put in a lot more fill, and that all costs money at the end of the day. And occasionally I do have to resize boxes, and they can look a little bit messy if you just try and resize them with a Stanley knife. So generally what you would do if you were resizing a box, you'd grab a Stanley knife and run it down the side, and then you kind of like just push and force this over, and you end up with like these uneven fold lines. And for me, it does my head in because I'm a little bit OCD with things like that. But this box resizer, it's got both inches and centimeters on, and say you want to reduce this box by 6 centimeters from that top line, you can actually adjust this down to the 6 centimeter line. That's pretty much, you know, the minimum. And then what you do is you grab it, pop it on the top of your box like so, push the bottom in, and as you run it across, oh, it actually puts, I don't know if it's going to pick it up on here, it actually puts a perforated line across here. So then when you trim down here like so, when you then actually push your box along that line, this box is probably a little bit thicker, but it was the only one I had. If I was doing a standard shipping box, oh, yes, there it goes. I've just managed to get it to go. It's actually given a much nicer fold. Normally this would be all over the place, and trust me, if this was a thinner box, it works really well from what I've seen, but it just gives a much nicer finish along the edges of the box. So yeah, I think this is going to come in very handy. I have put it in my little Amazon shop link for anyone that is interested in this. If you have to resize a lot of boxes, I highly recommend getting one of these. I think I paid about $37 for it. So it's really not that expensive, just to give you a much nicer sort of finish on your folded boxes. But anyhow, let me get on to cleaning up. Okay, it is a little past 2 o'clock, so it's past my closing time, but I did actually have some people in the shop who were browsing. I had a bit of a chat with them and they did buy. When I have got people in the shop, I don't close my door and I don't start packing up or anything like that. I just let people browse comfortably, and then usually they do actually purchase, and then once they've gone, I give it a couple of minutes before I actually rush out and pull all the stuff in. But once they actually left, I had some other people standing out the front who were eating ice creams and looking at all the stuff on the shelf, and I thought, I wonder if they're going to come in. So I gave it a couple more minutes, but they didn't. So they moved up to the corner of the shop instead and stood there eating their ice creams. I thought, I'm not going to wait for you to finish them. I'm going to shut the doors. So I've done that. It has been a really, really productive week, and I'm feeling really tired, but it's that really good sort of tired where you just feel accomplished. So yeah, it's been a good week. Got everything restocked on the shelf, so I'm all ready for next week. The only thing I actually didn't do that was on my list was that tallow balm. So I've actually moved that for next week. But like I said, it's one of those products where I'd like to get it out on the shelf, but it's not absolutely essential right at this point in time because it's only going to be in store. So maybe I'll be able to get it done next week. I've already written out everything I'm going to do next week. It's actually going to be a soap making week next week. I have to make a new aloe vera and cucumber soap. Got calamine soap and the oatmeal and goat's milk soap to make next week. I also want to make a sandalwood because I'm almost out of that on the shelf and out of it online. And then I've got a couple of others to make decorative soaps. I also want to make a little kind of Easter soap. We'll see how it goes. And I also need to make a couple for Mother's Day gift packs and need to get them done next week so that they are ready for the beginning of April, because I really need to be selling Mother's Day in April, even though it's May. I'm taking those first few days off in May, so it really needs to be done to be ready for April. I've got a list of all the things I need to do when I get home on my days off as well, so I will be getting on with doing that. Now, Lee, I might not be a huge bullet journal person, like I don't sit there colouring in and doing all fancy stuff, but I can tell you I'm actually really, really liking the idea, not just as a bullet journal, but I'm kind of liking the idea that I can just scribble my stuff all over the place. So I've decided next week I've just written everything I want to do across the top, and then underneath I can actually write what I need to do on specific days. It's actually working out really well for me. I'm actually looking forward to getting into April because that is the sort of setup I really, really like. And I think, yeah, although I'm not using it as a proper bullet journal, I am actually enjoying my processes of writing in here. It's really working well. Anyhow, I did, as you saw, make some melts. I thought I'd better double check when William's subscription is renewing for the monthly melt edit, and it actually renews on Monday, which I'm not in the shop on Monday, so I didn't want to have to delay sending his order any later by having to make the melts on Tuesday, wait for them to set, and then send them out on Wednesday, because that's like a 2-day wait. So I decided I'll quickly make up some melts, and I made up an extra lot as well in case anyone orders them. So I made those up, and if the second lot don't sell, what's going to happen is that when people actually subscribe to the monthly melt edit, they get that bonus 6th melt, and it could possibly be one that I've specifically created for that month because I haven't got any leftovers, or if I have got leftovers from previous collections. So say I have, you know, that collection left and someone joins in, I don't know, June, they might get one of those past melts in their collection as their 6th one. So they will actually get used up over time. So I've done those, so they're ready. If William doesn't cancel, I can send that out on Tuesday when I come in. I had a bit of a tidy up out the back. I've been testing making body washes, and these, whether they look it or not, these are actually all failed attempts. This one, what was wrong with this one? It looked really funny. I don't know why, but when I first made it, it looked really funny. So I threw a bit of colour and fragrance in there, and I've popped it in the sachet. It's looking good, but I think it just it looks a little bit funny. I also use xanthan gum to thicken it, and I just don't like the texture. Which one's which? This one is just way too thick and gloopy. Again, I use xanthan gum. In fact, that was what, no, it wasn't. Trying to think what I've been doing. So this one had xanthan gum in, and it was just too thick, gloopy. It's, for the only way I can think to describe it is snotty. It's not nice, so I don't like that one. And then this one here, I reduced the amount of xanthan gum that I had in it, but it actually keeps splitting. It takes probably a week, but it does split out, and then it needs to be shook up again. Now the thing is, when it does come to things like this, these 3 body washes, even though they are not what I would sell on my shelf, they are perfectly safe to use. So what I do is, to avoid having all that wastage, because that's one of the main sort of things people have when it comes to doing testing and formulating, these body washes are going to go home for hubby and I. I'm going to keep these 2, and he's going to have, I'm going to give him that one. The reason I get 2 is because he already has a couple of other failed bottles at home, and I need some for my shower. So if they were not a safe product, then I would bin it. But given that it actually is still safe to use, rather than my hubby coming to me going, can you please bring me some more bars of soap home, and actually giving him a perfectly good bar of soap that I could sell, I instead give him a product that's not quite up to par. And then at the end of the day, I'm not giving him my money from my earnings, but I'm also not wasting that by throwing it away. So we've got some body wash, but I'm still working on it. I've got new thickeners and stuff coming through. I really don't like using xanthan gum as a thickener, so I've got some different options coming in next week, and I'll be able to have a bit more of a play. I've also got one of those shower fizzers for me to take home. I want to see if my printing company will make this style of bag if I end up selling these as singles, because I really like this as an option. I want to see maybe if we can get some foil lined paper bags. I don't know if that's such a thing, but I'll just have to have a little bit of a look around and see what I can get. But I'm going to take this one home for me to test, and then providing that all goes well, Lee, that one's, I think I need to reduce the amount of liquid that's in here, because that one's started to react. The others are all fine, but that one has started to react just a little bit. So I might have to reduce the amount of liquid that goes into them. But providing they do work all right, I will be able to send these on to Lee as thank you for the mold that she made me, and I owe her these shower fizzers. So we'll see how things go. But anyhow, that is it. I hope you've enjoyed coming along with me on this month's vlog. If you did, why not leave me a thumbs up, and any questions, comments down below. And until the next video comes out, I hope you have a good one, and I will see you then. Bye.